Hi, Bob.
Hi, mate.
Great to have you with us today. Are you enjoying the day so far?
Brilliant.
What's been a highlight of the Innovate 2026 for you?
The best compliment I can give you is when I was asked to do this, I didn't want to give up any session to come and do this. So I've give up your external guest speaker because there was something on at every session that I thought, I don't want to miss that. Because there was a lot to learn this year, a lot of new stuff.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. And thank you for giving up the last session, the external speaker. Yeah, the best bit to speak to us.
No problem. Let's hope it's not amazing.
I'm sure it will be, and it's being recorded, so we can send it over to you and you can watch after. So thank you for your time. It'd be good to talk a little bit about Chase De Vere and your technology journey and technology adoption. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Chase De Vere and your technology journey with Intelliflow, and then we'll
so I've been in the organisation as long as some people have been alive. So I've worked for Chase De Vere for 30 years, seen a hell of a lot of technology change from not having an email in the business at all to having standalone systems to where we are today, which is a wildly different place with Intelliflow.
Yeah, and I think from an Intelliflow perspective, certainly across our customer base, you're one of the pioneers operating a digital first approach. So you're heavy adopters of the personal finance portal. How have you found that?
It was hard at first. I think lockdown helped us massively. So we tried to push the portal the year before COVID and lockdown happened, and I think we benefited from being ready for that, I would say. So once lockdown happened, we instantly said, well, we've got a toolkit here. You didn't want to use it. We only had 1,000 people signed up. Overnight, we went from 1,000 to like 17,000 in a matter of months because we were ready and we'd already been pushing the material and the collateral and training. And our clients bought into it straight away. They could keep in touch with us. They could see their own data. Yeah. And we'd done a hell of a lot of work in the years before that to get their data in a better place. So when clients started coming on the portal, they were looking at correct stuff.
Yeah.
I think it was in the early days when we took on Intelliflow, the data from our old system probably wouldn't have been in a great place. But we'd spent a lot of time and effort getting that right. Clients then hopped on board. We started doing DocuSign straight away, and I wouldn't have said it was business as usual during lockdown, but it meant we didn't have a downturn in any way, shape or form. And in some ways, our clients preferred the level of contact they got from us in a digital manner rather than we've traditionally been a very face-to-face business before that.
And did that allow you, with the sort of the way in which the modern world then adapted after COVID, to continue that sort of hybrid of traditional advice with a more digital offering?
Yeah, I'd say early days post-COVID, we carried on digital first fully. Yeah. And then it started ebbing away and slipping back to going back to more face-to-face, more inefficient ways of working. And then a key business message one year at our conference was just don't go back. Don't go back to inefficient ways. It's not good for our client. It's not good for us. And we've been fighting the fight, I would say. And I think we've settled at a pretty good place where we are what I'd say a hybrid advisor now.
Yeah.
If a client wants to see us, we're happy to go and see a client, whether it be in our premises or at their house. But there's a lot of clients happy to be seen, even if it's every other client meeting, just in a digital way with digital signatures. Yeah. And that gives them more options for contact. We can see a client more often, basically, if we're using digital means.
Yeah, and I imagine some of the stuff you've seen today gives you a lot of confidence about managing and continuing to grow that digital first approach.
Yeah, definitely. So I think the new portal that I've only just seen in a session now is night and day. It's definitely a huge evolution. I think all that booking stuff and the reminders and review processes is exactly what our clients and our advisors would want. I think it's a great next step. I think we spoke last year about that. That's where we wanted the product to go, and I was reassured that it was heading in the same direction that we wanted, and those two worlds look like they're aligning.
Fantastic. And a key point then, I suppose, for other Intelliflow customers to take away who might not be as far in their digital first journey or even started it in the way that you have, data being really key to that.
Yeah, so I know a lot of Intelliflow customers, and there's quite a few of them have other systems and other processes outside of Intelliflow just because they didn't like documents or they didn't like a fact find. And I think it starts to come home to a lot of them that without being in the ecosystem properly, you don't benefit. So if you've got a fact find elsewhere in another system, the portal's no use to you. If you've got a signature system that doesn't work within Intelliflow, then you're losing out, really. Yeah. And I think the way you're taking the product, I think customers that are more in bed with the product will benefit more. I think that's my key takeaway, and hopefully my peers in the other organisations will be seeing that they probably need to pick a winner, really.
Yeah. Recently, I suppose in the last 12 months or so, business has gone on quite a significant push around Cashflow adoption and embedding that into your standard advice offering. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so historically we had very manual and bespoke way of doing Cashflow using a fancy spreadsheet, for want of a better phrase. and it did a job for income sustainability for a very long time. And we tried all the different products out there, you likes of Voyant and stuff, but what we always found, they were too standalone, they were too difficult, there was no data sharing. So obviously when Intelliflo acquired I4C, we were interested instantly, like, well, this will integrate better. We stayed away for a little bit. We did some testing with you guys and had a look at it. And then all of a sudden we just thought the time's right to strike. So we set up a project, we put a piloteers group on there, which created demand because the people that didn't get it then wanted it, and we basically formed a queue. And we just took it slowly and trained it out in a really sustainable way. Did a lot of train the trainer because I've got a small support team. And the client feedback was just amazing. It wasn't just about what the advisors got from our clients. Like, this is game-changing what Chase De Vere are delivering. And the fact that it was part of our current product and the client didn't pay any more for it, but yeah, they got more. It's been absolutely amazing, all the feedback. Obviously, there's a bit of a burden because from a data perspective, if your data's not in a good state, you need to get that in a better place. But again, even stuff like the advancements on the portal, the advancements in IQ, I think, again, it all comes back down to that same place that if you improve your data and improve your system usage, then all them other systems benefit. So Cashflow, we've got every single advisor using it, every single client gets it. We primarily do it for at-retirement advice, but we're now expanding into other areas, and we're even doing some bespoke stuff outside of standard like client engagement. So it's just growing arms and legs, really. It's been a huge success for us.
Yeah, and it's fantastic to hear as well, which sometimes isn't the first thought, but that impact on the client experience.
Yeah.
So that benefit to the quality of advice that you're delivering as a firm.
Yeah, I think one of the very first questions I heard from a client was, can I have access to this? So clients like it that much in the visual way as they want to sit and play with Cashflow. And it is quite a techie tool, and we have sort of time to train it out properly, but they're seeing like the graphs and the what if scenarios. Yeah. And I can see a place sooner rather than later where we're going to have to give them a version of that, because the client sees real value to playing with what if. And it also helps them plan for the future with estate planning and expenditure, etc. And it's just, we didn't have that tooling. So it's like night and day from where we were from a visualization of the client's assets.
Fantastic. I suppose it does complement as well that digital first approach where the data that you're delivering in the format that you're delivering that in the new portfolio report as an example, and the templates that you send out, your suitability reports, those cash flow graphs in them, just all complements.
Yeah, well, our ideal scenario is that an advisor does everything digital, but we know in the real world that isn't possible. And it's up to the client for me. If a client doesn't want a digital first approach, we can't force a client regardless of what we want. However, I think there's been some advisor preference where they like what they used to. And I think slowly they've caught on to that it can change their way of working. It can help them. Certainly the trials we've been doing with AI tooling has changed their view of transcription and the admin reduction that an advisor can actually see and do a better job for a client. So I think tech is just going to grow and grow and grow from being quite a resistant group of people, I would say, financial advisors. I think the last few years has really changed everything. And it's a perfect time for AI and transcription stuff like that to come along for them, because that feels like the next step and they see a benefit. A lot of the stuff we've done in the past has either benefited a client or the back office. Advisors are going to see a benefit for themselves and their way of working, and I think they'll lap that up.
That's brilliant. And I suppose that ties into then your whole use of the system. So in today's session, Nick's talked about the advantages of being an e-advisor champion, or in your case, a champion plus.
I didn't know it was a champion plus.
Yeah, you use Cashflow, so we'll be able to share that data on you. So yeah, I suppose from that perspective, it'd be good to understand how, like you said, we've touched upon it, using that whole tech ecosystem and start to end journey and how that works in Chase De Vere and the benefits then you're seeing as a business, because we've touched upon advisor improvements, internal staff improvements, and a client experience, which is fantastic. But from a business perspective, being an advisor champion, have you seen those tangible benefits that Nick's sort of brought to life earlier today?
I think it's data quality for a purpose. So we've had systems for years and years that did nothing. So there was no purpose to keeping the data right and correct and up to date. If everything's flowing from that system, it's either updating that data for you or it has to be up to date for it to work right. And I think we realised that quite early doors when we got Intelliflo that our data wasn't in a good state, and it's because it hadn't been used to do anything and nothing had inputted into it other than a human typing in. And as times evolve, things like Cashflow, things like the portal, it only gets better with time, and you get automation options. So I think being that e-advisor thing, although I'm competitive, I'd love to be the top of your leaderboard. For me, it's about how reusable and useful is our data, one, to an advisor, and two, to a client. Because the second it's not, everyone loses confidence. And I've saying about one version of the truth. I always want IntelliFlow to be our version of the truth. If we even go and buy another system outside of the IntelliFlow ecosystem, it's got to flow from IntelliFlow. It can't be its own set of data that's standalone. We just won't accept it. And it's the same when we buy a firm. So we've been on an acquisition trail for the last few years. And if we buy a firm, without being overly aggressive, we say you've got to take our data and our systems, and we'll train you up on it, and we'll go on a journey with you, but we can't live with another system because it just doesn't work for us. So we have one set of data that we then maintain for a purpose rather than just for the sake of it.
So effectively IntelliFlow is that beating heart of the business, and pushes and pulls information.
One version of
the
truth.
A single source of truth.
And we use it to produce letters, we use it to produce other systems and other data for clients, and it's got to be right. And if you don't update it there, we don't want you to update it anywhere. It's got to be in that central place.
No, thank you, Bob. That was great. Really appreciate your time today. It's been great talking to you. Great understanding some of the benefits that IntelliFlow is delivering and will continue to deliver. Thank you for your time.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Enjoy the rest of the day and the evening.
I will do.
And we'll see you next year for more of the same.
Sure, mate. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's a wrap.